What is going on, everyone? Sam here from Lake Pro Tackle. Guys, this video we're going to be talking about the brand new Berkley Nessie. It is going to be Berkley's big push into the glide bait market. Now, Berkley has just released their coal shads and had a lot of success with the launch. However, their first iteration of baits did have some issues. So if you haven't seen the video already on how to get your free Berkley coal shad replaced, go watch that video. It's going to be in this corner, maybe that corner up there. I'm not sure which one, but if you did buy a coal shed, doesn't have to be from us, can be from anywhere. If you do have a coal shed, definitely follow the instructions on that video there to find out how you can get your free replacement. Now, the Nessie is going to be in a separate category of the swim baits. This is going to be a glide bait. More specifically, it's going to be a soft glide bait. So this bait here comes in 3 different sizes. It's going to come in a, I believe, 5, 7, and 9 inch. And the best part about it is it's going to be under $15 in all sizes. So I've done a lot of research from watching Mike Iaconelli and some other people that have been posting about the Berkley Nessie, and I'm super excited to see it up close, have it in my hand at ICAST. So again, definitely want y'all to check out our social media, Instagram and Facebook at Lake Pro Tackle. We've got links down below. Everything is going to be linked down there. Check out Mike's stuff if you want to see more on the Berkley Nessie. But we're going to be talking about some of its strengths, maybe some of its perceived weaknesses, and how it really fits into the swim bait market. Now, watching Mike growing up, he was always a high energy type of guy, but he's definitely passionate about things, and he seems extremely passionate about this Berkley Nessie. So with that said, guys, some of the cool things that I see in these videos, I'm going to translate to y'all. First off, the 6 different retrieves. In his most recent YouTube video, he showed you 6 different retrieves on how to retrieve the bait. Obviously there's a wide glide at a super slow retrieve, a little bit faster at a more moderate retrieve. You can chop it, you can wake it, you can do a whole bunch of different things with it. So based on his video there, it looks like he had around maybe 15 to 17 pound fluorocarbon. I'm not sure exactly which one, but it looks like to me that depending on what line you have, really determines how this bait will work. So it looks pretty neutrally buoyant. It looks like a very slow sink, if anything. And you can definitely modify it however you want by adding lead strips or anything like that, or lead wire to the hooks. And I think that this bait is going to be extremely, extremely versatile. But when it comes to swim baits, guys, I dive a little deeper into the make of the bait itself. Now, this bait here, which sets it apart from basically any other soft-bodied swim bait slash glide bait on the market, is that it is going to be a mesh style bait, and it's going to have that soft plastic body on it. Now, some people in Mike's video have been comparing this Nessie to the Jackal bounty fish, which I think is completely just off the wall. I don't think that they have actually fished the bounty fish at all, because the bounty fish has such a big joint in it that really when you twitch that bait, it folds almost in half. And doesn't really have any glide to itself at all. But the Nessie is completely different. It is going to be basically a true glide bait where that joint is close enough to where it stops the bait from going like past 90. I think the degree on the bait is going to be anywhere from like 40 to 50 degrees. So it's going to have a wide angle on it, which allows you to be able to chop it, slow glide it, do a whole bunch of different things, especially like waking it on top. And it is done by a mesh joint. Now, this mesh joint has been seen before in the bounty fish, and I think that's where a lot of people are drawing connections to it. However, the way Berkley has designed the joints and stuff to mesh together with that joint is completely different from the bounty fish. Now, with the mesh joint, can this be a failure point? I'm not sure. I definitely want to get my hands on one at ICAST, and I'm going to be showing you guys a first look at the Nessie up close and personal. But I think the joint could be one of those failure points. And I'm interested to see as well how much of the mesh extends into that bait itself. And that's really going to determine how strong this bait's going to be. Now, Mike pulled on this bait quite hard. It looked like showing that it won't rip or anything. But one thing to note is also that this bait only has 1 hook in it. So traditionally on, let's say a Zimmer glide bait that I have like right behind me in the case, or a Storm Arashi, or like a bull shed swim bait, they're gonna have 2 hooks on them. This bait here only has 1 hook. Now, this Nessie does use the same harness system as the coal shed, where it breaks away from the bait. It uses a really cool little clip that holds that hook in place, and you can really rig that hook with a treble facing down or a treble going up into the bait, depending on how you want to fish it. And it looks like it has some really good hardware. It has a bearing swivel on it. It has what I assume to be a fusion hook. So they're putting some really high quality parts, hardware onto this bait, and especially at that under $15 price point, I am highly anticipating a lot of people picking this bait up. I think the accessibility factor is there. You know, Berkley is still mass producing these baits, not to say that they're limiting how many they go out at each time, but I think that the vast majority of people are going to be able to get their hands on one if they really want one. So from Mike's video, from his description, it says that these should be available in the fall. And based on what my rep has told me from Berkley, he has said that he's going to make his rounds with some samples around August. So right after iCast, I'm going to be able to see them again and show y'all exactly what is going on with those there. Now, some other notes that I wrote under the camera here, so that's why I'm looking down a little bit. One of the big things on this bait is going to be the stabilizing fins. So on the front half of the bait, it's going to be the main section, the main harness with the hook, line tie, and everything like that. On the back portion past the joint is going to be a hard fin, which will help stabilize this bait. Now, it's very interesting from my swim bait perspective. I see that fin and it looks like it runs pretty horizontal to the water, very parallel, and it's going to allow this bait to stay in one area of the water column without rising or sinking too much. Now, for me, I like live scoping, so I think I'm going to be adding some nail weights or maybe adding some lead wire into the hook area to sink this bait down. And I think those stabilizing fins, it can either really help or really hurt this bait depending on how much weight you have and how you disperse them. Because if you have too much weight on the front and those fins point down, all it's going to want to do is dive down, and vice versa. If you put a lot of weight in the back, those fins are pointed up, and it's just going to make your bait rise. So I think Berkley has probably done a lot of testing on this bait to make sure that you know, right out of the package it works really well. But for people who want to live scope with these baits that aren't totally committed to going out and just throwing it around, I think that this could be one of those negatives that we might see from this bait. So this is all speculatory. I have no idea. I haven't even touched one yet. I have seen some videos and I have done some research on it, and that's about all I know. So anything you hear in this video, just remember that I am no expert on the Nessie yet, and I definitely want to get my hands on one to go test one out. So again, iCast guys, we're gonna go see these up close and personal, get the first look on them, and I'm super excited. So as for the Nessie guys, it is up to you. Let me know down in the comment section if you want to get your hands on these and how many we should get in. Now, based on what we did for the coal sheds, I think we sold around 170, maybe 180 units of those, and they were super successful. So the Nessie, I think, maybe we'll get 150 in and we'll see how they do. The coal sheds sold out pretty quickly. The one color didn't sell out entirely, so we had a couple left over, but I think we're gonna keep it pretty simple. They have 10 different colors, like I said earlier, 3 different sizes. So the coal shed only had 2 sizes, so we're probably gonna do like the 5, 7, and a couple 9. I think 7 is going to be the big player from a lot of people, and I'm interested to see the variance between the smaller sizes to the bigger sizes. You know, the 5-inch is almost half as small as the 9-inch, and we're gonna see how they run. The 10 colors, probably gonna keep it like a bone, a white, a shad, and maybe one of those cool ones like the lemon lime or lime chartreuse, whatever color it was, one of those wonky colors that might get a little reaction bite out of the smallmouth. And actually, this bait probably could be a smallmouth killer, especially since Mike was showing you could chop it super fast or you could wide glide it. So I love smallmouth fishing. I think that the profile for it fits a lot of areas. It does kind of resemble a mullet just because it's a little longer, skinnier. Oh, and one thing too, The tail is a little bit different in the back. So the tail is gonna be kind of like your brush tail. But what he said is it's a lot softer than most. And also, since it is a soft glide bait, the bait basically folds entirely over, kind of like the arma joint, so this fish can get it down in their mouth. So if you're excited about it, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you want to get some in yourself. Share this with a friend, Facebook, Instagram, post it on there. We really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time at Lake Pro Tackle.